So, a lot of people who know me have this like misconception that I don't read from what I've like not been told, but like how people have like reacted to me when like I said that I love reading, or like when reading is brought up, they're like, oh, you read? And contrary to popular belief, I live for reading. Since I started reading, there have been 3 specific books that continuously always come to mind when I think of books that I would like recommend to people, books that are my favorite books, books that I would and can read over and over again without getting bored, without like wanting to be done with like halfway through the book, stuff like that. I'm sure there's tons more that I love, but these are just the first 3 books that always come to mind. I don't know what order I'm gonna put these in. The order really has no like indication of like which like what I like better or anything like that. And these are the books. I guess I'll talk about the one that is actually a series first. So the one book that is a series that I've read the whole entire series, I started reading this book I think in middle school, and I actually have one of the books. I just don't know where it is because literally we've been moved for like 8 months and half of our stuff still is unpacked. The book series that I'm utterly insanely in love with is called the Sisters Grimm series. I'll insert a picture of the first book. I'm editing this video right now, and I guess while I was recording most of the summary and like my thoughts, well, it was really just a summary of the Sisters Grimm book, my audio went fuzzy, or whatever you want to call it, for like half of it. So I don't remember like my exact words because I filmed this literally a month ago, or I filmed these clips a month ago. So I'm just gonna try to say what I think I would have said. And yeah. So essentially this book is about 2 sisters. The oldest one is named Sabrina and the youngest one is named Daphne. And I think Sabrina's like 15 and Daphne's like 12? 8? Something like that. So basically like they're in an orphanage because their parents allegedly got in a car crash and they both died, and like they didn't have any other family that their kids could like stay with or live with. Like the lady who like runs the place is like like really mean and all that stuff, and so she would like intentionally always give like the girls to people who like would put like their life in danger, because I guess she wanted to kill them. I don't fucking know it. And so like they're in the orphanage, and then this really like weird lady comes in and she comes to adopt the kids, and they find out soon after they've been adopted that she's their grandma. And basically they like go live with the grandma, and where the grandma lives is like with like all like the magical like characters in like the fairy tales that like you would read like as a child, like Cinderella or like Rumpelstiltskin and stuff like that, lived, because there was like one like villain that wanted to like use all like the people for slaves or like take over the world, one of the two, something like that. And so basically like they just like find out all this stuff about like their parents, about their past, about like their family, and the parents end up being not dead but just under a spell, and they have to figure out how to wake their parents up, and like they have to figure out how to like defeat the villains, and like whenever there's like a tragedy or whenever there's like like a crime committed, they have to figure it out, and they have to like beat the villain and all that stuff. So that's essentially like what this series is. Like in each like book, they like solve another crime, like defeat another villain, and like while still trying to figure out how to wake their parents up, and like how like to adjust to like this whole entire new world. And yeah, but the book that I have like recommended in this video is like the first book, so it's like the introduction book basically. And it's by Michael Buckley. That's the first book I want to mention. And now moving on. This next book is essentially what inspired me to make this video, because I don't remember when I found it, but I know that I read it like once, and I've been genuinely looking for this book for the past 5 to 8 years. So it's called Blackthorn Winter, and essentially it's about a girl who is forced to move from her hometown, California, to England with her mom and her brother and sister. They're younger than she is. She and the brother are actually adopted, but she's the oldest, and the brother is the same age as the sister who's not adopted, so they just call themselves twins. And the mom wanted to go back to her like roots, because she's an artist, and that's like where she like I think that's where she went to art school, and that's like where all of her art friends that she went to art school and like who are her best friends live. So she's forced to like move back and or move it, I guess. And honestly, this like the plot twists start happening very fast. Like, I did not remember this, but the book is only 35 pages, so it's like rapid fire kind of stuff. So the girl who's like the mom's best friend is an artist, obviously. Everyone knows everyone's business basically. And the mom's best friend has like 2 friends, which is the mom and the husband of the other best friend, like in their little trio. And other than that, she's hated by everyone. And then I want to say it's like within the first 2 to 3 days, the mom's friend is, well, at first it's thought to be a drunken death, like it's not suicide, and she didn't get killed, but she was like walking home incredibly drunk, and it was thought originally that she fell off a bridge and like hit her head, so she had a wound on her head, and then fell face down into like a little like shallow stream, so she like drowned. But then it was later found out that she was actually murdered, and basically there's like 2 brothers in this town who like always get into mischief, always like get in trouble and all that stuff, and one of the brothers is just accused and put into jail for doing it because he had talked about like his hatred for her, and like how like not that he wanted to kill her, but like he wouldn't be sad if it happened. And like a lot of people in this town like always made remarks like, someone ought to kill her, like I hate her, like we'd be better off with it, like all that stuff. Everyone in the town just automatically blamed one of the brothers, and his name was Simon, and his little brother named Henry immediately went for his defense, because like he was like lost without his brother, because like it was like just them 2. So the main character, her name is Juliana, and at the funeral, she notices that like most people aren't particularly like sad about what had happened. And at the end of the funeral, the like little brother of the boy, of like the dude guy man who was accused of killing her, Henry, like burst in, and he was like, my brother didn't do it, like I was with him the whole entire night, we were at a bar, like it wasn't him. And obviously no one believes him, but like the girl Juliana, like something makes her believe him. And so she starts like looking out for like possible clues and suspects. Basically from the moment that she starts investigating, a bunch of stuff starts happening, and there's a bunch of plot twists, and there's a bunch of like things that you would never see coming. Even though like it wasn't the first time I read it, when I read it and got inspired to make this video, I still got like the chills. It's just a roller coaster of plot twists and emotions and mysteries being solved. I don't know, I just think it's a really good suspenseful thriller mystery fiction book. Yeah, but yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna make a long summary short and just give the basics of this book. Essentially, it's about this dude named Horace who wants to become a photographer. So he's like an apprentice, feels like really like famous and like well known to be like really good photographer. And then they go to like this like really like rich family's house to take a photo of the mom for their deceased child, for like well wishes for the child. And then he talks to like the other daughter that's still alive, and it's honestly, there's a lot of plot twists, and it's very intense and suspenseful. Basically nothing that the family says to Horace or like his boss or whatever you want to call it is true. And I was shook by the end of the book. That rhymed. And yeah, it's a really good book, and it's like, I don't know if it's specifically a mystery, but there's definitely like a mystery aspect to it. I don't really know what like its exact categories would be, but yeah, I'm done. Okay, thanks for watching. Stay lit.